Greetings to one and all, and welcome to Making Sales Social Live. I'm Bob Woods, and I'm here with my co-host, the one and only LinkedIn Whisperer, Brynne Tillman. How you doing, Brynne?
I'm good, Bob. How are you?
I am doing great. Fantastic. So today, let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn pages, which used to be known as company pages. Now they're just pages, and let's just say enough about that. Welcome to Making Sales Social Live, as we share LinkedIn and social selling training, strategies, and tips that will have an immediate impact on your business. Join Brynne Tillman and me, Bob Woods, every week. Making Sales Social Live. This is the recorded version of our weekly Making Sales Social Live show. We get asked a lot about LinkedIn pages, though, and since it's been actually quite a while, longer than I thought, since we talked about them in our podcast. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk about them right now. So what doesn't get talked about much with LinkedIn pages, though, is the different ways that they could be used for any size company. And I'm talking literally any size company, even the smallest size. And that is solopreneurs or single person company. They're actually important for that too. So let's get right into it. Brynne, before we get to actually building the page, I think I'd like to talk just really quick about why it's important for those solopreneur or single person companies too.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to get started. You know, company pages are very different than your personal profile page, and it's used differently. So, for example, we often talk about your profile page is you personally walking into a conference or a trade show, shaking hands and kissing babies, right? Like meeting people, starting conversations, you as the person. And then when someone says, hey, tell me a little bit more about what you do, you bring them over to your booth. And that's your company page or your LinkedIn page. I continue to say company page. There's no longer company page. It's just pages. Yeah. But it makes, there's lots of ways to use pages, but your company page, your page that represents your company can brag a little more, can talk a little bit more about your solutions, can sell just a slight bit more. And we're going to talk about how to use that company page in conjunction with your personal page to be able to show off a little, to be able to talk about awards and new product launches without it sounding like you personally are too salesy.
Yep. And then let's just say, for example, if you are that solopreneur or single person company, and by the time you get done listening to all of this, you're like, I still don't think that this is worth it for me. It is worth at least just setting up a page with your logo on it, because in your experience section, you really, really should link to a company, because otherwise at the very top of the profile, in what we call the top of the fold section, if you have a company listed there and then there's just that big gray ugly blob up there next to it rather than a company logo, assuming that you have a company logo, you really lose credibility, because it doesn't look like that you work for anyone or any company or whatever. So just from like a looks, aesthetics, and credibility building standpoint, even for that one person company, it's important to at least set up a LinkedIn page with your logo attached to it.
Perfect. I love that.
So from there, let's build the rest of the company page.
All right. So there are a couple of elements that are really important, and we're not going to talk about like details on building a page. I just want to talk about some things that are really important. Number one, your logo that you upload should be a really good quality logo, a high resolution logo. It can get grainy at times if you're using a lower resolution logo, and it's just not as appropriate. The other thing is, try to make your logo to fit nicely inside of the box. Even if you have a narrow logo, or put it maybe even with the white background behind it so it fits nicely inside that box and your logo is very clear.
if you're the type of company like actually we are here at Social Sales Link, and you've got like an icon as well as your name as part of the logo, just use the icon there, because everywhere you see it, it's going to say your company name right next to it. So don't be afraid to just use your icon in there too, because if you scrunch like if we scrunched
Mhm.
all of that down into that little space, no one would be able to tell what it is at all. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, just look at on LinkedIn, just type in social
Socialsaleslink.com.
sales link, or just social
So
sales link in our company page, and you'll see what I'm talking about right there.
yeah, right. So it's literally the logo, not the logo and the name, because it shrinks
Right.
very tiny. So that's a very good point. The next thing is using your background banner like a billboard. Change it out. Use it if you have an event coming up, if you're going to an event, if we have a podcast that we want to promote. So that will be there. Use it wisely. Use it like your company billboard. If there was a billboard outside of your building, what would it say? What would it do for you? And, this is dynamic. It's not once and done, right? That's a really good opportunity.
Definitely does not have to be one and done. A lot of companies still unfortunately treat it like that, but
Mhm.
for upcoming events or anything like that at all, switch that
Up
stuff in and out. It's like those electronic billboards that are up
digital
now that
billboard.
cycle through.
Yeah.
Yeah, digital billboard. Yeah, they're all electronic. Digital
Yeah.
billboards. Yeah, exactly.
The next thing is your tagline, right? And so this is different than your personal headline. This is the tagline of your company. So if you have a website and a tagline, that should match here, right? But the goal of that tagline is to resonate with your buyers and get them interested to find out a little bit more about what you do and what you sell as a company. The next thing I want to talk about is the call to action button. You have an opportunity to drive traffic from your company page out somewhere. So are you driving that to your website? Are you driving it? If you don't have a website, are you driving it to your personal LinkedIn page? Do you have a landing page with a download? Do you have a free giveaway kind of thing, right? Like there are a lot of ways to use that page, and I highly recommend that you take advantage of that real estate.
And that's also new too. So if you had a company page, you haven't touched it in a long time, definitely update that.
How new is that? I think it's years now, no?
Oh, the actual CTA, I don't think so. Well, check it no matter what. How does that
Yeah,
sound?
either way, but that's interesting. I think it's been around a while. I think it's pre-COVID. So, but it's that whole time is nuts. So who knows, right? So there are lots of other things to do. You want to make sure you've got your description there. You want to make sure if there are more than one employee that they are all connected here, and you want to post frequently. Now, normally we talk a lot about curating content. On your company page, you don't need to curate content. This could be original content, but it could also, you could do events through your company page and polls through your company page and sharing content. Here's what I love is you can brag. If we won an award and I went out and said, "Hey, I'm so excited I won an award," right? It's braggadocious. But
Mhm.
if we put that on our LinkedIn profile or we have a new product launch, then as a personally, I can go engage, right? So I can go as the social sales link, I can post, "Congratulations, Brynne and Bob for X, Y, and Z." And then Brynne and Bob will go engage and say, "Thank you so much for the kind words," right?
And then we could also share that on we can share that company post
Mhm.
on our own timelines as well. So I call that a humble brag. So it's, because it's starting from somewhere else and you're going, "Oh, thank you. You like me. You really like me." And all that type of stuff basically. It's,
Yeah.
it's not really bragging if someone else recognizes you first and then you just acknowledge by thank you or whatever. And that's where the humble part comes in, because obviously people who are following you and who are connected to you should see this at some point in their timelines as well.
Okay. So now, I mean, there's so much more in setting up
Yeah.
your page, but I just really kind of wanted to cover a little bit of that. So the
Yep.
next thing is, how do we grow followers? So here's one of the most wonderful things, and LinkedIn has improved this over time, is if you are an admin of the company page, and by the way, you can make many people admins, even, it breaks LinkedIn's agreement to have someone post on your behalf on LinkedIn to log into your account and post. You can actually use like Hootsuite to schedule posts, but to organically log in, it just breaks LinkedIn's agreement. So,
looking to up your LinkedIn game? The Social Sales Link team has you covered with our LinkedIn Sales Accelerator, a guided social selling program that includes training, coaching, and so much more. Visit socialsaleslink.com/in for more details. Again, that's socialsaleslink.com/in.
On a company page, you can assign as many admins as you want that can post absolutely authentically, where we're not fooling anyone because it's a representative of the company. So, yes, they can post, but they can now go in as a company page and engage on people's posts. It used to be you had to have a shared hashtag, and that's gone away. Right now, when you are on LinkedIn and you're an admin of a company page, a LinkedIn page, there's a little drop down at your face where you have your sharing as Brynne Tillman or you're sharing as Social Sales Link and engaging. So you could go into a post, like or react to it, and comment. So I could go in and choose Social Sales Link, and I'll say, at Bob Woods and at Brynne Tillman, check out the valuable tips in this post by at Gunnar Hood, right?
Yep.
And so now Gunnar, who we're making pretend it's his, so he gets notified, Bob gets notified, and I get notified, and then we go in and engage personally. Now Gunnar would say, oh, now I'm going to go follow Social Sales Link because they engaged on my post. You can also, all the people that are engaging on his post, you can like and comment as the company page and as you personally.
Just for the security conscious people out there who are like, oh, I don't know if I want to have all these people being admins of the page. There are a couple of different roles that you can assign as well. So super admin, you would obviously want to keep that locked down tight, but content admin is probably where you're going to want to put those people there, because they could post and manage content and comments and things like that, but they can't like delete the page or anything like that. So that can be done.
Awesome. There are lots of different things that you can do from a posting perspective, and you can mention people. So go ahead. I saw you had an aha moment.
Aha. Analytics.
Yes. Go ahead. Talk a little
You
bit
get a
about that.
lot more analytics with a company page than you do with a personal profile. Now, at this point, I'm not saying don't do a personal profile and only do company pages
Well, you
because of
can't do
analytics.
that.
But you can see who is visiting, who is following the page, and that alone can be used in a wide variety of ways, because somebody may be following a page who's not in contact with let's say you have several salespeople, they're not following or connected to salespeople. You can potentially have them reach out and say, hey, I'm following, I noticed that you're following our page, and then do what we normally talk about in terms of following, and then maybe liking a post or two of theirs, and then at that point reaching out to actually connect with them too. So you can use all of those analytics to actually not only see where people are coming from and what they're engaging with, but you could potentially even have your own sales people / employees, or however you work it, actually utilize that as well to reach out and get new connections and possibly start new sales conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the last thing I will share is that you can go in as an admin and literally see the people that are following your page. You can see if they're a first degree or a second degree. And so you can go in, if there is someone that's following your page that you want to engage with, you can reach out and say, hey, Tony, thanks so much for following our company page. I had a chance to look at your profile, and I'd love to invite you to connect. May I ask how you found Social Sales Link, right? Start a conversation with these folks. Now, not with everyone, but there's an opportunity in here for sure These are people that are already engaging with your brand. So connecting
Mhm.
with them can be a really big deal.
Yeah. So before we wrap things up, we do have a couple of comments that I want to talk about
Okay.
and share about really quick. Stephen, our good friend, wonders if someone from his company page likes or shares my content, how does that affect my post, good or bad?
It's all good. There's
It's
no
all good.
negative. Yeah, there's no negative. I mean, we are always engaging with each other's content.
Mhm. The next one is from Joe. We have a LinkedIn company page. It is important to put viable information that helps people keep it fresh. Maybe going to a trade show and offer to meet up and compare notes to help each other. Make it a relationship builder page. Could not agree more with that. Excellent. And then Neil has an interesting one because we're kind of in the same situation. I post my podcast episodes on my company page. I used to post them in my personal feed. Not sure if there's much of a difference. I
Big
think,
difference.
yeah. There's a big
So
difference there.
I will share. You should do both. So you can post it first on your company page, and then, as Bob mentioned, repost that on your personal page. But there's very different algorithms, and there are very
Mhm.
different people that are following your company that you and who you're connected to. And my guess is, at least it is for us, we have significantly more connections and followers of our personal than we do of our company page. So we want to make sure that all audiences are seeing that. So I start on your company page and then reshare that on your page so that you're getting both audiences.
And then something else that I would suggest, and this is something that we've just started doing. I'm not sure if we're seeing a lot out of it though, is that LinkedIn still has showcase pages that are attached to the company page.
Mhm.
So we actually have the Making Sales Social podcast, which incorporates both versions of what we do going into that actual showcase page. So kind of tucks underneath the main page, but it's its own separate kind of entity, I guess, for our lack of a better
Yeah,
phrase.
I would say it's much better for bigger companies. Like if
It's
you
better for bigger
have
companies, yes.
right, like if you have the Comcast page and then you have Xfinity under it and Comcast Business under it, like that might make sense. But we're actually seeing less engagement when we're posting on the page that has less followers, right? So and then you've got to focus on building two pages. So
Yeah.
unless you're a big brand, Bob, and my experience now is just don't bother with the showcase pages right now.
Yeah, we just tried it just to, quite frankly, see what
We
happens.
have to.
And I mean, try it if you want to. It is more work, and your mileage may vary, as they say.
So Meredith, events, should they go on the company page or the personal page? Okay. Big difference between personal events and company events. The biggest difference is the company events, you can actually check a little box that says it's a form, a sign up form, which you can export into an Excel spreadsheet. So it's a lead collection form that is available on the company page that's not available on the personal page. However, your personal page typically will get a bigger reach. So again, like we said with Neil, if you want to use that form to collect the leads that are signing up, I would recommend creating it on the company page and then sharing it on your personal page. When we do LinkedIn Live, we get a much bigger audience from my personal page than the company page. So in that particular case, we're not collecting leads necessarily. We're just putting out an event. And so we're doing it on the personal page. But that one feature is killer for a lot of people, and that's only available on the company page.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then the next one, which I'm actually looking at an analytics page here, so I can talk about that a little bit. So Joe asked, when with LinkedIn, does it keep track of the analytics of how many times people comment on a web page? I'm assuming a post at this point, or notice. So I'm looking at one right now. It keeps track of impressions, views, clicks, CTRs, reactions, comments, shares, and it even provides an engagement rate as well. So
Mhm.
So it gets, like I said, it doesn't reach the levels of granularity that, people like Brynne and I want to see, but it's definitely much more than when you do analytics from personal posts.
Yeah, and it'll share the name of the post, the post type. Did you reshare it? Was it
Yep.
an uploaded article? Was it an image? It will tell you what audience had the opportunity to see it, which in our case is always, we put it out for all followers. How many impressions it got, how many clicks it got, how many reactions, that's the like or the
Yep.
love or the curious, right? So I think it's really nice, and because you can really understand the reach of your posts. My one recommendation is to try to compare that to the best analytics you can of your personal posts. A/B test it, because I have just found generally my personal posts do significantly better.
Yeah, same here.
And you can also do it in time frames too. And you
Yep.
can export your analytics, which is great in the company page.
That's nice about that. Yeah.
So, to company page or not company page? I think to company page.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think we've answered that question. Like I said, it just, depends on your time and, how much effort you want to put into it. But every company, no matter what, if you're, Fortune 500 or if you're solopreneur, every company should at least have a company page that is branded with logo and like that type of thing.
Awesome. So let's bring this in for a landing, my
We
friend.
are taking home, bringing in for a landing, coming into the train station, all that stuff. Thanks again for joining us on Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter right now, we do this sucker every week. So keep an eye out for our live sessions. If you're listening to us on our podcast and you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button to access all of our previous shows and be alerted when new ones drop, as the kids say. If you like more information on our podcast, go to socialsaleslink.com/podcasts. As I said before, we actually do 2 shows weekly. We do the live show, and then we also have a Making Sales Social interview series where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. So when you're out and about, be sure to make your sales
social.
Thanks, everybody, and you're welcome to everybody who's typing in thank you in the comments too. We appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody. Don't miss an episode. Visit socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. Register for free resources at linkedinlibrary.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.